Cool.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi guys. This is Marianna, I'm owner of Vindium Real Estate, and this is my show me the money man, Kyle.
Kyle Bergquist from PRMI Primary Residential Mortgage. Yes.
We are here to talk about what's going on at the very end of 2018 and how is the housing market look like, how is the lending market look like, and what can we expect from the next year.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year. It's been a year unlike many other years that we've had, and at least the past 6 or so years. It was maybe a little bit softer than it has been in the previous few years. Interest rates are a little bit higher than the previous few years. We had some major economic turmoil earlier with the head tax causing some, Amazon to stop construction, and on top of HQ2, being announced, there was a lot of concerns with buyers and buying into the 2018 Seattle housing market.
Okay, and how do you feel about it right now? How are they feeling now? What do they need to know to make a decision?
Well, I think if we take the year as a whole, I think that a lot of dust has settled, right? We've gone through HQ2, which Amazon always said all along, we're not moving somewhere else. We just need another location. Um, but people don't, take whatever with a
Right.
grain of salt, right? Is that true, or are you just saying that to kind of quell, fears? Well, they announced HQ2. It's
Yeah.
going to be in Washington D.C. and it's going to be in Long Island, New York, which are both another aspect that brought clarity is that those are both fairly comparable markets to the Seattle market. Unlike if they were to have moved to Atlanta or Dallas or Austin or Indianapolis, which were some of the other top 20 cities that they had talked about, where $900,000 here buys a fixer up in Wallingford, but
Yeah.
it buys a mansion down there. So
Right.
if I personally was working for Amazon, I would be intrigued at potentially relocating if that's one of the cities that they chose.
Hmm.
But they did not, and they resumed their building. They put a halt on building in the spring with the head tax, and they resumed building, and their job postings are back up to 8,600 full-time job postings here in Seattle
Yeah.
from, it was down in the low 2000s back then. So a lot of things have sort of kind of come, the dust has settled, a lot of fears have been mitigated, and I think that we're at this perfect junction right now where it's a great buyer window,
It's a
at
great
least from my perspective. What do you think?
I agree with that. Like first and foremost, my thoughts on when are you should be buying is it's very simple when you're ready to buy. Because if you want to buy, you find a reason to do so. If you don't want to buy, you find a reason for that also. What Kyle and I are here to do is to give you the data to assist you make whatever decision is the right for you. So let's get to data. And this is why I love this guy because he's all about data, just like I am, because emotions come and go, guys. So you can't really rely on that. The most important thing is what the data shows because it's a financial investment. And that's why I want to hear from him. What do the numbers show right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So to piggyback off that, I mean, it's buying a house is no small investment or purchase
Hmm.
or life decision. So do it when the time is right for you. Don't don't just do it to do it. So I echo your sentiments there. But if we're talking about the data and statistics, and is right now a good time to buy? Well, yeah. So we mentioned earlier that the 2018 market was a little bit different than any other market that Seattle's had in the previous 6 or 7 years, and a lot of that it's not due to the fact that lots of sellers came to play. If you look at month over month or year over year new listing activity, it's actually very comparable to what it was last year in
Yeah.
2017 or 2016 for that matter. The only outlier would be the month of May, where we set a record for new inventory, and that sort of kicked off this snowball where it's like there was 14,600 new homes listed on the Northwest MLS in May, which is more than any other month in the past decade. The last time we were over 14,000 was in May of 2008, and that was at 14,100 or thereabouts. So it was still even the next closest peak in new inventory. We still kind of blew past that a little bit in May for whatever reason. But what that did is it caused this snowball where buyers started to hold back a little bit, and so the inventory levels grew a little bit. And you can see, I think, what chart do I have up? Yeah, so this is inventory for Seattle City proper. you can see that inventory just grew and grew because the buyer pool wasn't buying the inventory that was being released. And so now we're at a point where Seattle inventory is more than it has been in the past 5 years. And the rhetoric or the narrative around that is, well, is it a seller's market now? No, not really. It's just more buyer friendly than in previous years. A balanced market is 5 months of inventory, and we're sitting right around 2.3 months of inventory. So relative to a balanced market, it's still very much a seller's market. It's just not the seller's market that it was in 2017. So with that, we have lots of inventory, supply and demand, lots of inventory, lots of supply drives the prices down a little bit, which is what a lot of the headlines in the newspapers have been saying is, Seattle is the fastest appreciating market in the nation, which I mean, to an extent is true, but you can pick your data points. If you go year over year, we've appreciated at 8%, which is about 2 percentage points higher than the national average. But if you're looking at April to now, well, yeah, we've depreciated, I don't know, 15, 16, 17% or something, right?
Yep.
But we took 3 steps forward. We've now taken 2 steps back. And so we're at this point where we have the most inventory of the whole year, and the prices are as low as they've been the whole year. And what normally happens in Seattle, if I go back to the inventory chart, and you can see it hopefully behind me here, is that every winter, inventory just drops off a cliff.
It's every time.
Every time. If you pull this chart for as long as we have statistics, every winter, inventory drops off a cliff because sellers dictate the inventory level, and people don't opt to sell when it's only daylight between 9 and 4 p.m. And of that, it's probably raining. And by the way, the Seahawks are playing on Sundays and the Huskies on Saturdays.
Human behavior.
It's
cyclical.
Yeah.
And it's predictable.
It is, to an extent. And so that's where we're at. We're right on this cusp of inventory is about to fall. Prices are probably about to rise if past trends hold true. And so it makes, for statistically, a really great time to buy. It's a really great buyer window right now. Yes? No? Yes?
I absolutely agree with that. And if we are following the statistics and we're going to go down again in inventory, it's usually supply and demand no matter what you do. So guess what's going to happen in the springtime? So it's going to adjust, but how much exactly we don't know. Still, I think it is the best time to buy, probably the next month or 2 months maybe before the cycle starts again.
Yeah, we do. We probably have a 2-month window before things really noticeably start to appreciate.
Lifting again, yeah. And
what happens, this has been fascinating to track over the past years, is just things move, sort of herd mentality.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Like, so true.
And so as soon as the inventory drops and the median house prices therefore start to rise, you have a lot of buyers where now the uncertainty is gone. Amazon is here to stay. Actually, Amazon, Google, and Facebook, by the year 2020, I think they're projecting about, is it 25,000 new jobs or 25,000 new jobs in the next year and a half?
Just between them.
Just between those 3 companies, exactly.
And everybody else is coming to town anyway.
Yeah, average software engineer earns $110,000 per Glassdoor. So
and
that's
what is the purchasing power for that?
It totally depends, but oftentimes if they're married, then it's $220,000, and the purchasing power there is a lot.
Exactly.
Especially if and that's just the salary. You oftentimes get sign-on bonuses and annual stock options.
So like we don't really see. Like, it's an interesting thing. People keep saying that, like, actually the last 4 years, people keep telling me this. Just wait because the market's gonna crash, and just wait till things gonna drop really a lot. But I don't know what are they basing that on, because people are getting paid a lot of money. We have a lot of people moving in. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that markets always go up and down, and so there's.
But it doesn't really tell me, so much like the other.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't tell me that.
We can go back to the price chart, and you can see every year it goes up, and it goes 3 steps forward and 1 or 2 steps back, and then 3 steps forward. And,
rising, right?
Yeah, so on a big picture, big scale, you have to take a look at supply and demand, and overall, Seattle alone, Seattle specifically, the tech companies in Seattle are hiring 1,400 new employees, bringing them in per month.
Per month.
So that's 1,400 new people with an average job or average salary of $110,000, on top of signing bonuses and all the other money that they earn, moving here per month, and we have 1,100 homes for sale. So if that herd mentality, if they saw, okay, housing prices are starting to rise, maybe now is a good time to get in, inventory could go like that, and all of a sudden the entire market's been reset, and we're back down to historic all-time lows for Seattle inventory, which would of course drive prices higher. And so that's what I'm curious to see in the next couple months, is like, when is that herd mentality going to hit? Because when it hits, that's when we're going to get our next three stairs higher for purchase prices. So we want to, if you're looking to buy now, before that happens would be the time to do it.
And then come and see you, because also the interest rate's been going up. We don't know what's going to exactly happen, so we need to get pre-approved really fast. If you're not a cash buyer, come see this guy.
Yes, that works for me. Interest rates are rising. They are 93 basis, so they're 0.93% higher than they are from their 52-week low. Bankrate.com puts out a great survey every week. They survey the top 20 national lenders, and so they're the national 30-year interest rate for 20% down, 760 plus credit score. Single-family residence was 5.01%, which, a 52-week low was about in the low fours. So it's definitely made a big impact on what people can buy and just overall housing payments. It's actually fascinating. I did a study not too long ago, or a blog anyway. Even though the housing prices have declined, if you go back a year, the cost of living in Seattle has actually increased 9%.
Wow.
Just due to the interest rates having risen. So
yeah, should we really wait more?
So we have, right now we're at this sweet spot where at least we're winning on the housing price side, the medium price side. Interest rates will do what interest rates do. They will come down the next time we go into a recession, because that's just how the Fed and governments get economies out of recession. But until then, they're probably going to be around in the fives, low to mid fives or so.
Right.
So at least if we can capitalize on the fact that the median house price is as low as it's been in 12 months, maybe not so bad.
Okay, so basically what we can summarize it with safely is that inventory is high enough, the prices have been gone down, let's don't wait for the interest rates to rise. This is a good time to buy based on the numbers. As I said, whenever you're ready is when you're going to buy. And also remember something, it's like dating. Like the right house doesn't come along. These are not cookie cutter stuff. Some of them are, but the vast majority aren't. So you're gonna fall in love with one of them more than the other one. So you can't just really wait forever. At some point you're like, okay, I really want this one more, and then let's see what the seller wants. It's an individual negotiation every single time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Give us a call, shoot us an email. We're here to help answer questions. If you're on the fence, if you're wondering how to get started, Marianna and I, we can help.
Absolutely. So just reach out. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you.